Hi there. I did a video a while back about live concert recordings on LPs and whether or not they're worth listening to, in my opinion. So I grabbed a couple of LPs in my collection that were mainly soul and jazz artists. So this time around I'm going to do something similar, but picking out more the rock, pop, live concert LPs that I have in my collection. And I wanted to start with the man in black, and that's Johnny Cash. So here's his LP. It was released in 1968. So this one is quite famous. It's called Johnny Cash at Folsom Prison. This is a really wonderful recording because you really get a sense of his rapport with the inmates at Folsom Prison, and there's a lot of banter going on as well. And at one point he actually tells off some of the inmates, telling them not to curse because the concert was being recorded, and then he goes on to curse. So that was quite funny. It brought about some chuckles in the audience. So that LP is really fantastic for me, and it's worth a listen. And you really get a flavor and essence of the atmosphere there. You know, even the echo of the room, you can kind of detect that. And there's one point where I suspect that it might be a prison warden or someone working at the prison checking whether or not some of the inmates in certain cell blocks are actually able to listen to Johnny Cash singing. So that was quite interesting. They did a bit of a check while they were recording the concert. So you really get a feel of what was going on the ground when he was doing this, performing live in front of the Folsom Prison inmates. So the following year, he followed it up with Johnny Cash at San Quentin. So there you go. This is in 1969. So again, you know, similar to his concert at Folsom, you really get a sense of the bonding he has with the inmates. I think these two together really are fantastic. It's a fantastic listening experience. So I can't think of many artists who did live, you know, concerts or did concerts at prisons. So that was quite interesting. And a few years after he did these concerts at Folsom and at San Quentin, he actually traveled to Sweden and he did a prison concert there. And then I think a few years later, he did a prison concert in Tennessee. And I just want to show you the inner sleeve for the Folsom concert. The LP came with this inner sleeve called the inner sleeve. So I thought that was really interesting how back then the record companies really went at great lengths to promote other artists and to plug them and to provide information about these bands and their latest LP, the latest work. So it's really fun. I mean, you can see Sly Stone there, Bob Dylan, Chicago, Art Garfunkel, Paul Simon. Here's one, Janis Joplin. In 1969, the same year, Elvis came out and did there's a concert LP from Memphis to Vegas, and then on the back it says from Vegas to Memphis. So this is a live recording of his concert in Vegas at the International Hotel, and here's the gatefold. It's pretty cool. A year before, 1968, Elvis did his famous comeback special on television on CBS, and that was a huge hit. It was a big deal. And that was after he had spent a long stint doing movies. I'm really a big fan of Elvis during this period in his career, and that's basically late 60s to early 1970s. And I love it. When you listen to this LP, it's a double LP, he actually introduces the song Suspicious Minds, saying that's his new song. So that was released, what, 1969. And he also sings In the Ghetto. So you've got a lot of old Elvis tunes and new Elvis tunes on this double LP. This is very famous for the live recording. Frampton Comes Alive. There you go. In the mid-70s, Peter Frampton was huge. He had a lot of hits. Show Me the Way, right? And there's another song, Baby I Love Your Way. And there are a lot of other hits on here. Here's the gatefold. Let me show you that. If you can see, it's nice. And here's the back of it. So I've read that Frampton is considered one of the most underrated guitarists. I don't know a lot about guitar music, guitar musicians, but in this LP really showcases his artistry, and I'm not surprised he's seen by so many as an underrated guitarist. This live recording, double LP, the sound is superb. So I'm really lucky because I got this copy. It's a first pressing, and there isn't any ring wear on this album. So I'm really pleased about that. And I've played both vinyl. It plays perfectly, so I have no complaints. I got that for $10 about 5 years ago. So I'm really pleased about that, to have that. So the next one I'm going to show you is Santana's Moonflower, which was released in 1977. So it's a double LP. I'll just show you the gatefolds. Very beautiful. Check this out. It's nice, right? So the condition of the actual sleeve is, it's a bit battered. I didn't mind too much because the vinyl, the two vinyl, the records, they were in really near perfect condition. So this is actually a combination of Santana's live performances mixed in with some studio performances too, some studio tracks, and it's really nice. It works really well. The two hits we all know at this time was Black Magic Woman and Europa, and a couple other tracks are all on here, so it's really fantastic. I'm glad to have that. Well, this next one is the 1981 Dance Craze album. So it's a soundtrack from the movie Dance Craze, and basically it's ska music, the best of British ska live. There you go. So it's just an incredible collection of live performances by Bad Manners. The beat, but actually on this LP it says English Beat, because what happened was in the UK they were known as the Beat, and they found out that there was already a band called the Beat, so they had to call themselves the English Beat. So it's a bit similar to what happened to the Spinners. They found out that there was already a group called the Spinners in the UK, so they actually had to rebrand or call themselves the Detroit Spinners. So that could cause some confusion sometimes. So anyhow, this says the English Beat is actually, known as the Beat, and then the Body Snatchers, Madness, the Selector, and the Specials. So isn't that great? So what I love about this LP is that there's a lot of social commentary during the live performances, and they're basically, they're all quite anti Thatcher. So Margaret Thatcher is the British Prime Minister at the time. And, they were just making a lot of comments about her, saying how horrible the Conservative government is. Because, during that time in the UK in the 1980s, it was the Thatcher era, so there were a lot of strikes, labor problems, and whatnot, winter of discontent. So a lot of economic and social problems happening in the UK. So I thought that was really interesting. Nonetheless, I'm really happy to have this copy in my collection because it's in really good condition. So I'm very happy about that. The last one I want to show you is the live concert LP for Simple Minds. This is 1987. The concert was in Paris. And I'll show you the gatefold. It's fantastic. Have a look there. So it's really great. It's a double LP album. I have to say, I think Simple Minds, when they perform live, it just takes things to another level. They're just phenomenal. I really do feel that way with Simple Minds. And you know, you go on YouTube and you Google some of their concerts and they just sound absolutely fantastic. So there you go. So those are my picks for live concert recordings for pop and rock music, and I hope you enjoyed my run through with these LPs in my collection. So if you've got some live concert recordings in your collection and you've got some favorites too, please do make a comment, because I'm always keen to know what's out there, you know, artists or albums I might have missed, and you know, I'm really keen to explore new music and just learning about what other people like and what they have in their collection. So that's it for now. Thanks for joining me.